Hey guys! This week we're going to be focusing on the two elements, form and value, for our art lesson. Shape and form are quite similar. However, shapes are flat and two-dimensional, whereas form is three-dimensional and you can view it all the way around. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So last week, boys and girls, we focused a lot on different types of shapes. When lines connect, they create shapes. However, to turn a shape from 2D to 3D on paper, an artist needs to add something called value. When we take a look at these shapes here, you can see that there's some shading on one side. Now, value is where you stretch a color from its lightest to its darkest. In order to achieve this, we change the pressure of how hard or light we press with our crayon or pencil or whatever material it is we are using. You can see here that this value scale goes from light to dark. The same thing would apply with color as well. Today I'm going to show you guys how to create a robot using shapes and then how to add value to make your shapes look more like forms. Before I demonstrate, let's look at contemporary artist Robin Davis for some inspiration. Robin creates found object sculptures, in particular robots. Robin uses vintage found treasures. Some parts she finds are rusty or recycled, and she names each and one of her creations too. I wonder what you are going to name yours. She even photographs them in a way to tell a little story by positioning them in a certain way and creating a particular background. Something to consider while we create our robots. Let's take a look at the different shapes that you can use to draw your robot. You can also find these idea sheets linked with this lesson, so if you need to take a longer look or have the ability to print them, you can do that as well. You can always pause this video too. Boys and girls, you want to start with a pencil and paper. You may want to have an eraser handy too. You're going to start by drawing a shape for the head. I am drawing a rectangle near the top of my page so I have room for all the other parts. Then think about what other parts you'll need. A neck, a body, legs, and arms. What about a control panel and a face? Remember, you're building a robot, and if you like the way Robin Davis built her robots, you might want to mix up your shapes too. For example, make the arms different, or change your shape size, like your robot's face. Notice that I chose to draw my circles different sizes for my robot's face. Details like antennas and bolts. You could even make little circles to show where that metal comes together as if you were building a real robot. What is going to make your robot unique? Before we make our robot look 3D, let's practice creating value. You can do this on a separate sheet of paper or along the bottom or back of your robot paper. Your mission is to change how hard you press with your drawing tool to change the lightness and darkness. As you can see here, we are going from dark to light. And now you're going to see that when I apply just a little bit of pressure, it's super light. And as I start applying pressure harder and harder, my value gets darker and darker. You can see here with this blue crayon that you can do this with any type of drawing tool. Now if I press really hard, the color is really dark. And notice now I'm going to lean off the pressure just a little bit to create a medium value. As I press lighter and lighter, it lightens up. I want you to practice until you can also achieve 3 different values. Now I challenge you to use those values to make your robot look 3D. Here's how to do it. You want to imagine that a light is shining from one side and choose the opposite side to add your darkest value. This is where you'll press the hardest with your drawing tool. Notice how I am going over the outline, but just on one side of the shape. Again, notice that if the light is coming from this side, you're going to want to darken in the opposite side of the shape. So you want to consider that as well when you're moving on to the other side of your robot. Now, when adding value, you have to think of each of those little shapes. Notice how I'm moving from dark to light within each one. And remember, you can always pause this video if I'm going too fast. So notice, boys and girls, as I'm moving from the dark side, I'm slowly moving over to the light side within each of these shapes. You can always go back and darken in some of those areas if you need to change the value so you can clearly see that you're moving from dark to light. Boys and girls, I cannot wait to see the different shapes you use to build your robot and the ways that you add value to turn them into forms. Don't forget to post on our Padlet page. Bye!